Confusion and chaos at the Whitmer High School football game when 3 people are shot outside the stadium. Parents and students recall the confusing and chaotic moments. Plus, more than a dozen officers were working the game. They were on the scene in moments. How security for big events has changed over time. And a train derails in Sandusky. A look at the massive cleanup effort just underway.
This is 13 ABC Action News.
I have shots fired outside of the football field, Clay and Whitmer Drive. 1343, I have 2 confirmed hits. We're taking them in with the trainer. We have fire on scene now.
We got 1 shot in the north locker room right on the street. We are in front of this victim. I'm not sure where the second victim is, but then it's not confirmed. I got a second one in the training room.
520, we got a 3rd victim that shot.
A high school football game in Toledo ends not with the sound of a referee's whistle, rather with gunfire right outside the stadium. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Josh Krupp. This shooting unfolded in the 4th quarter of the game between Central Catholic and Whitmer at Whitmer Memorial Stadium. Tonight, police tell us 3 people were shot, 2 of them adults, the other a Whitmer student. Authorities say all suffered minor injuries. Again, this shooting happened outside of the stadium. Security was tight. City leaders say 16 police officers were working this game. They search people for weapons before they do go inside. At this hour, there are 0 suspects in custody. But investigators say surveillance video has already helped them identify the person they believe was the target of this shooting. We will discuss the significance of that with our law enforcement expert in just a moment. But first, parents and students are still trying to come to grips with how something like this could happen. And 13 ABC's Carly Petrus was there following this developing story last night. She leads our coverage again tonight. Carly, yeah, everyone's just trying to make sense of what happened here.
That's right, Josh. And as we get the chance to speak with more and more people who were inside those gates last night, we're realizing the experience and the trauma that they had.
It really changes things. It puts things in perspective.
It was supposed to be the rivalry game of the season for the Whitmer and Central Catholic High School football teams. But the fun and excitement was cut short in the 4th quarter by violence and chaos. Parents I spoke with say the only thing they were worried about in that moment was finding their children.
I just had to find my baby.
I was going the other direction against the grain, trying to get to her at the student section.
Students tell me the traumatic event will stay with them forever.
Our student was shot on premises at the school. And, you know, you hear about it on the news and it's terrible to think about, but, you know, you think about it, it's at somewhere I go every single day. And it's somebody I know and I talk to every single day.
When you hear that, it can happen anywhere. Right. Did you kind of witness that?
Yeah. This district and this game specifically could not have been any more secure. Not only did we have district resource officers, but I mean, Toledo police officers, it was, you know, metal detectors, only a certain amount of students, you know, it was as safe as it could be. Didn't matter how many people we had here, it could happen, unfortunately, it did.
Now, both Central Catholic and Whitmer High Schools are offering counseling services for students and staff that need it.
We want our students and staff to know that they are loved.
Washington Local School Superintendent Katie Anstadt adding in a recorded statement that she is proud of how quickly students and staff handled the situation.
We are grateful for our security team and district staff who quickly secured a very chaotic scene, just as our training prepared us to do.
Now, Toledo police are offering a $5,000 reward to anyone that gives them information that leads to an arrest. We'll have more details for you as we gather them. Reporting live in Toledo, Carly Petrus, 13 ABC Action News.
Carly, thank you. And anyone with information should call Crime Stoppers. I want to take you now to a joint statement issued this morning by Toledo's mayor and police chief, along with Washington Local Superintendent. They all say, we know what happened in our city was unacceptable. Everyone should be able to enjoy a Friday night football game without having to fear for their safety. Let's turn now to our law enforcement expert, Tim Dimhoff, to discuss how security and police training for incidents like this has really just evolved over the years. He joined us earlier on Action News Now.
What law enforcement is doing across the country, not just in the state of Ohio, is any of these type of events that are taking place. Visually, they want people who are thinking about doing negative, criminal or aggressive, violent types of acts at these events. They want them to see that these events are well attended by law enforcement. Then secondly, taking care of and responding to the injured. Protocol and the norm now is basically find and neutralize the aggressor.
What else are they going to be looking at outside of security footage? And the fact that they say that they found the person who they believe was targeted in this shooting, what does that say to you about this incident?
The target is going to most likely know or have strong suspicions on why he or she was targeted. So the fact that the target is alive and can have a conversation, the police can interview that person. You got obviously a strong ability to identify the shooter or shooters and the reason for the targeting.
This situation happened outside of the stadium. You could still hear the gunshots from inside, but everybody who was inside, you have to get wanded, and security is there making sure that everybody going in doesn't have anything on them. How much more prevalent is that in our society these days, and should it become the norm?
That's exactly why this shooting took place outside the stadium, is because the security was so good. You had 16 officers there, you have cameras, you have people being wanded for detection of metal and weapons. And now you're going to have to start the outside immediate perimeter is going to have some increase in security presence.
Tim Dimoff, a law enforcement expert from SACS Consulting. Appreciate the time, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Josh.
And you can catch our full conversation on 13abc.com at our free mobile app. You can get it in your phone's app store. We'll send you notifications and post updates there as we work to uncover more about this developing story. Want to turn now to First Alert meteorologist Ross Ellett. Hey, Ross, a chilly October night for us last night. Not as cold out there tonight, but still the chance that some of us in the viewing area could see some frost.
Yeah, I think some of us probably will. And the farther south you go, the more likely opportunity for that you've got. Frost advisory out for Wyandotte County. Everybody else, we do not have an advisory or warning out for tonight. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't get a little bit of that patchy light frost by early tomorrow morning, but definitely still a chilly one. Right now, temperatures hovering around 40 degrees. We're at 37, a little cooler there in Adrian, 38 in Monroe. Toledo's at 40, Findlay 42 degrees, and mid-40s out to the lakeshore. Satellite and radar composites showing essentially a clear sky, and that'll allow temperatures to drop off much more for tonight, at least another few degrees. Probably breezy enough to keep the temperatures elevated just above the freezing mark, though, in the mid to upper 30s for most overnight tonight. But tomorrow, a typical October day. Cool in the morning, warmer in the afternoon, lots of sunshine, and there's a warming trend to talk about as we head into early next week. We'll get to that coming up.
Revitalizing a neighborhood. Next on Action News, how volunteers helped rock the block. We'll check out what else is happening around town. And later, nobody hurt after a train derails in Sandusky. Some cars crashed down on a road from a bridge. Why the cleanup efforts here go beyond just getting the train cars cleared. Plus, a truck bomb destroys a key bridge connecting Russia to Crimea. Why it's a major setback for Vladimir Putin. Hang with us. We're back in 35 seconds. Back with a live look at Progressive Field in Cleveland. Yeah, you move over to the other corner of the state, it's rocking. Plenty of Guardians fans out here in our neck of the woods. Plenty of reasons to celebrate today, knocking Tampa out of the postseason and advancing to face the Yankees. Hey, let's check out what's been happening around town here in Northwest Ohio on this Saturday. And there's nothing fishy about this first one. It is the Sturgeon Fish Fest. Toledo Zoo and other local organizations teamed up today to host this event. The goal is to help strengthen the local lake sturgeon population. At the festival, food trucks, plenty of other activities for the family. And a Toledo community got quite the makeover today. The third Rock the Block effort kicked off in the Birmingham neighborhood. This is an extension of the neighborhood revitalization efforts by Maumee Valley Habitat for Humanity. Leaders with the organization cleaned up the outside of 10 homes and 5 community spaces. They picked up branches and weeds. They also did some gardening. More than 100 volunteers pitched in.
Sure makes the work go a lot quicker. It's a way for us build trust within the community and try to re-energize it. And that does happen. I mean, today we were doing the work and we saw neighbors on adjacent homes coming out and saying, hey, I'll do a little fall cleanup too in my own house.
And after a long day of some important work, our volunteers got to enjoy some food and fun over at the Calvary of Christ Fall Family Festival. And today the community came out to raise money and support Alzheimer's care, support, and research, all part of the Walk to End Alzheimer's. Our very own Lee Conklin was there. He got to MC the event. Started in Toledo at Promenade Park, and everybody got to walk to Middle Grounds Metro Park and back. Organizers say this event raises money to move forward with its mission of a world without Alzheimer's and all other dementia.
It really helps us not only raise funds, but raise awareness and give people who are affected by Alzheimer's and all forms of dementia a means to communicate, come together. It's a really important event for people to not feel so isolated in this really rough experience, which is being a caregiver or experiencing dementia.
And the organization's website says it's raised over $207,000 so far for the cause. New images just coming into the newsroom within the last couple of hours showing the aftermath of this train derailment in Sandusky. Take a deeper look into how significant the damage is.
And for a lot of the area, the growing season has come to an end officially with temperatures below freezing. That was early this morning, but now a warm-up in sight. We'll talk about it after the break.
We're back with that train derailment in Sandusky that's forced the closure of the Columbus Avenue underpass, a key road in the city. Nobody was hurt. Check out these images from the air after the sun went down tonight. I'll show you a look from the ground this afternoon shortly after this happened around 4:30. A Norfolk Southern spokesperson says nobody was hurt when about 10 cars derailed here. The train had 101 cars in it. City officials say the train was carrying paraffin wax, which leaked out and hardened, but they say it's not dangerous. The derailment also caused the power to go out in the area for a few hours. It's not clear how long the underpass will stay closed. In your voice, your vote tonight, it's almost time to vote here in Ohio. Early voting for the state starts next week ahead of the November 8 midterms. Today, the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation came out to encourage the community to head to the polls. The group held a rally outside the Lucas County Board of Elections, that is, in an effort to register voters. The deadline to register to vote is Tuesday. Early voting begins Wednesday.
Your life is so vital when it comes to health care, when it comes to your community safety, when it comes to the funding for your schools. All of those things are vital upon you voting in this election and every election.
Some key races are on the ballot for Ohioans, including governor and U.S. Senate. New tonight, we're coming to the end of Mental Health Awareness Week. A recent survey found that 9 in 10 Americans believe the country has a mental health crisis. But locally and across the country, there's a shortage of mental health professionals. The CEO of the Zepf Center in Toledo, which provides 24/7 crisis care, says we're really at a tipping point here of supply and demand. Our society keeps raising awareness about the issue, so more people are seeking out mental health services. That's good, but it also means the workforce has to grow to match that demand.
The crisis is not just the overall health of people. It is, do we have the ability to meet their needs in real time when they need us the most?
If you or someone you know is in crisis, make a note of this phone number you see on your screen here. It's the Zepf Center's 24/7 crisis care line, 419-904-CARE. Or you can visit zepfcenter.org. You could also call the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. We have to turn now to some major developments in the war in Ukraine. Ukrainian military is continuing its battle against the Russians. And we're seeing another major attack, this time in Crimea, which Russia annexed in 2014. A key bridge that connects the Russian mainland and the Crimean Peninsula is now damaged from an explosion. A powerful explosion on a section of a bridge linking Crimea with Russia. Russian authorities say a truck bomb caused several railway cars to catch fire, causing part of the span to collapse. The bridge, a lifeline between the two areas, engulfed in flames.
It's the main supply route for the almost 2.5 million people that live in Crimea. But more than that, this was Putin's baby. This was the way to solidify the Russian central territory with the Crimea that he took in 2014. So this is a stunning victory for the Ukrainians on the battlefield, but it's also a stunning blow to Putin and to the Russian people.
The bombing comes just one day after Russian President Vladimir Putin turned 70. Ukraine isn't claiming direct responsibility for the attack, but an advisor to President Zelensky calls it a beginning, saying everything illegal must be destroyed. Overnight in Kharkiv, Russian missile strikes sent plumes of smoke into the air. Rescuers frantically searched for survivors. Meantime, Ukraine continues to break through Russian lines in the south and eastern parts of the country. President Zelensky claims the Ukrainian military has retaken 300 square miles of Russian-occupied territory this week alone. And as fears of a nuclear attack escalate, President Biden is warning of the risk of nuclear war. At a New York City fundraiser, he said, "We have not faced the prospect of Armageddon since Kennedy and the Cuban Missile Crisis." The White House is walking back his remarks, saying there's no evidence Putin plans to use nuclear weapons imminently.
Now, 13 ABC First Alert Weather with meteorologist Ross Ellett.
Well, as we start off the day here, hey, Josh. Hey, Ross. How's it going? Yeah. Hey, yeah, there we go. As we start off the day for us early on this morning, those temperatures certainly very, very cold, down to the freezing mark or below. Of course, a lot of the area had a frost advisory or even that freeze warning that was out. And you can see where the temperatures landed early this morning. 27 there in Hillsdale, Wauseon 28, 32 right at the freezing mark in Ottawa, over to Findlay and Port Clinton, a little warmer as expected near the lakeshore, 39. Toledo 1 degree away from the end of the growing season officially at 33. Today's high 59 degrees. So again, temperatures into the mid to upper 50s as we went into the afternoon. Actually, Toledo, the warm spot here, 55 degrees out towards the lakeshore, 57 in Wauseon. A cool day, but now we're going to begin to see a warm up on the horizon. And while it's cool out there right now, temperatures not quite as cold overnight tonight. Currently 40 in Toledo, a very light 3-mile-per-hour breeze here. And while we could have a little patchy light frost, I think for a lot of us, the best potential is going to come in our southern counties, and temperatures don't drop a whole lot more overnight, in part because this breeze might actually stir up a little bit more as we head towards tomorrow morning. The breeze out of the southwest, it would be a warming wind, and so that should counteract some of the cooling we have overnight. You see lows here generally right around 37 degrees or so, but as you head southward, that's where winds could be a little lighter, and it could be just a touch on the colder side from Tiffin, Upper Sandusky over to Lima and Ottawa, and perhaps into southern Hancock County. That's why we think there's a little better chance of frost there. Tomorrow afternoon, warming up nicely, lots of sunshine. We are back into the 60s for tomorrow. Upper 60s coming up late for us on Monday after a cool start. And Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll climb right back into the 70s once again, nice and warm by the middle part of the week. Now again, for tonight, while some of us could pick up a patchy light frost, the best potential would be into our southern counties here. As we mentioned, from Allen County, southern Hancock County, and Wyandotte County likely has the best shot at a little patchy light frost early there on Sunday. You can see a couple clouds also trying to come in, but that's pretty much it. A lot of sunshine expected. Now Sunday night, a few more clouds on the way. I think we'll stay rain-free with that, but as we head right into the day for us there on Monday and again on Tuesday, quite a bit of sunshine is expected to once again make a solid return as we head towards later next week. So looking good there. And the cool air early into the season helping to turn those colors right now between patchy to near peak color across the area. Really over the next 1 to 2 weeks, we'll start to get closer and closer to some of the best colors of the season. 37 degrees overnight tonight. Again, a little patchy light frost mainly for our southern counties. And tomorrow, warming up to 65. Lots of sunshine on the way. And we've got a lot more of it there into that 7-day forecast. Monday, 67, mid-70s Tuesday and Wednesday. One good chance of rain on the horizon coming up this week. That would be late Wednesday and Wednesday night. That cold front will knock the temperature down a bit again later next week.
Just one chance. All right.
Yep.
Just one moment and we'll be back for sports. But first, your winning lottery numbers from your official lottery station, 13 ABC.
KCSN on 13 ABC Action News.
Toledo and Bowling Green both looking to start 2-0 in the MAC. Two very different days. Toledo visiting NIU, who spoiled homecoming last year. Early scouting report for their next opponent, Kent State. Don't throw towards Quinyon Mitchell. All over this Ethan Hampton pass, pick six. The sophomore from Williston, Florida, had the game of his life. That was his first career INT. Gets the hang of it quickly. Rockets up 28-7 in the second. Run it back, Quinyon. Another pick six. Like the game, he's only halfway home. NIU in the red zone. Mitchell in the end zone. A hat trick. Mitchell adds a fourth pick in the third quarter, tying a school record set in 1950. UT wins 52-32. 15 tackles for St. John's alum Dallas Gant. Matt McDonald and Bowling Green hosting Buffalo. The Bulls charging into the China shop right away. Ron Cook puts him up 7-zip and sets the tone. They go back to Cook, shoots his way up the middle. Bulls out to a 17-0 lead. BG turns it over 4 times. One of those sets up Mike Washington from 92 yards away. Turn away, a 38-7 bulldozing.
We're supposed to be competitive, and that team right there that we just played was equivalent to us, and we didn't play well in all aspects. We need to figure it out. We need to get it fixed. Playing a good Miami of Ohio team next week. That was as disappointing a half and disappointing a game that I've had probably in my career.
The good news for third-ranked Ohio State, Travion Henderson back in the lineup, but last week's record-setting back, Mayan Williams, not available at Michigan State. First quarter game tied at 7 after a C.J. Stroud pick six. 3 plays later, Emeka Egbuka left all alone. Stroud finds him for a 69-yard TD, puts OSU up 14-7 in the second. They're up 8 from the 1. Henderson, no one to stop him, 118 yards. He left the game early, but Ryan Day said Henderson could have returned in a closer game. They didn't need him because it wasn't close. C.J. Stroud and Marvin Harrison playing pitch and catch all day. Harrison 3 TDs, Stroud 361 yards. Buckeyes roll 49-20 with Harrison's monster day.
Definitely surprise myself sometimes, but you also have to have the confidence in yourself that you can make any play out there. So I just try to make everything feel routine. That's why I put all the work in, so nothing surprises me.
But with those type of guys, all you got to do is give them a chance. So that's what I try to do in that instance. And
Michigan visiting Indiana. Scary moment in the first quarter. Running backs coach Mike Hart suffered a seizure on the sideline. Hart was carted off and taken to a local hospital where Fox reports he called the team at halftime to say he was doing well. And for the most part, the team played well. Tied at 10 in the third, J.J. McCarthy flushed out. Finds Cornelius Johnson for a 29-yard touchdown. Gives the Maize and Blue the lead. McCarthy threw an ugly pick, but made up for it in the fourth quarter. Dunk and dive. Luke Schoonmaker gives them some breathing room. Michigan wins 31-10. McCarthy more than 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and they gave Hart the game ball. That's all from me. 13 Action News. Coming right back.
Well, another cool one coming up overnight tonight, down to 37 degrees for that low. Could see a patchy light frost in our southern counties. 65 tomorrow, 67 Monday, mid-70s Tuesday and Wednesday. So a nice warming trend on the way. Good chance of rain coming up late Wednesday night, early morning Thursday, and then cooling back down.
Those fall colors are just going to be popping here soon.
They are.
Can't wait. Can't wait to see you again. We're back here on 13 ABC tomorrow at 6. Good day.